Max Verstappen was able to wrap up the Drivers' World Championship 2022 after taking victory at the Japanese Grand Prix thanks to a late error from Charles Leclerc that gave the Monegasque driver a 5-second time penalty, handing Sergio Perez second on the podium. Full points were awarded for the race that barely went 50% of the race distance, and Verstappen has enough of a gap of 113 points to take the Drivers' World Championship. Strap yourself in, there's plenty to get into. The Red Bull driver was able to hold on to first place after being slow off the line against Leclerc in the tricky conditions that caused havoc on the opening lap. Carlos Sainz, the big loser out of most of the pack after he span out of the race midway through lap 1. Alex Albon also retiring before returning to the start line again. After the safety car came out, so too did the red flags on lap 3, with the rain intensifying. 2 hours later, and a lengthy wait, around came the safety car to lead the field away from the pit lane. And with 40 minutes on the clock remaining, racing surprisingly got underway, with Sebastian Vettel and Nicholas Latifi immediately switching to the intermediates. 36 minutes to go on the clock and Verstappen and Leclerc had pitted for inters, as did almost the rest of the field as the track began to clear of water. Verstappen already had a 4-second gap on the charging Leclerc, with the gap increasing to 10 seconds with 20 minutes remaining. The Dutchman was in full control. Leclerc, however, was losing time to third place Sergio Perez. The Mexican was in the groove according to his pit wall as he looked to reel in the Ferrari. With 6 minutes to go, Perez was under half a second off the Monegasque driver. Despite the fight initially from the Mexican driver though, however, including a big dive up the inside at the hairpin and then a look on the outside of the final corner after Leclerc ran wide in the final 2 turns to rejoin the track and gained a lasting advantage, that's important, the Ferrari held on for second place at least as they crossed the finish line, with Perez coming over third. Esteban Ocon finished 4th with Lewis Hamilton 5th. Sebastian Vettel says goodbye to the track he loves so much with a 6th place finish. Fernando Alonso 7th, George Russell 8th, Nicholas Latifi in the Williams surprisingly 9th, and Lando Norris 10th. I'm just very happy that we got to race at the end. I mean, it was rainy, of course, quite heavily, and then it's just really tough for us to drive at the moment. But luckily, we got quite a good amount of laps in, and the car was flying in the interconditions as well, said Verstappen after his victory. Leaving here without a race would have been terrible. The championship, of course, it would have been great to win it here, but we have a great opportunity for the next race. But during the interviews, the stewards confirmed they were handing Charles Leclerc a 5-second time penalty for his late race error. The Ferrari driver relegated to third, with Perez now second, and a Red Bull 1-2 giving Verstappen a 113-point lead in the Drivers' World Championship, and more importantly, the Drivers' World Championship title, leaving him and the team in ecstasy and everybody else a little bit confused because the race had started and then had only had 50% of the laps remaining, with Sky Sports' David Croft trying to confirm that because the race had resumed after a red flag and had been finished, full points could be awarded even though it was limited laps. There is more on this on GPFans.com and GPFans Global on Twitter, Instagram and TikTok as well to dive into. A little bit of controversy, not like Abu Dhabi, but Max Verstappen is the Drivers' World Champion 2022. Pierre Gasly has reminded the FIA of the tragic incident that took Jules Bianchi's life in 2014 in Japan after a recovery vehicle was on track at Suzuka this weekend during a red flag period in the wet. The French driver was apoplectic after a tractor was on track to remove the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz that spun out of the Japanese Grand Prix on lap 1 in torrid wet conditions. While Gasly was trying to catch up with the safety car after pitting for a new front wing at the end of the opening lap, the French driver was livid to see the tractor on circuit in conditions with almost zero visibility. God, what is this tractor? What is this tractor on track? I passed like right next to it, said Gasly on team radio. This is unacceptable. Remember what has happened. I can't believe this. The incident was the talking point during the whole of the rain delay in Japan and even prompted Jules Bianchi's father, Philip, to pass comment on social media saying, "No respect for the life of the driver, no respect for Jules' memory. Incredible." This will be a talking point in the world of Formula 1 for the next few days, I'm sure, and we will keep you up to date with everything on gpfans.com.